Hey ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the channel. As always, it is Nick here, back with your daily crypto news and analysis, and today we're going to be talking about Ripple and XRP. So let's just dive in, and let's start off with this article here from CoinDesk, where it's saying the World Economic Forum blockchain could disrupt $867 trillion in traditional markets. The opportunity could be substantial for an already fast-growing crypto industry with a current market capitalization currently around $2.3 trillion. Now, obviously, yes, this is an older article. It got posted back in 2021, but I do think that this is something to focus on, and we will talk about why here in a second. And no, it is not just because the names behind this, as you guys do see down there. It's all the board members from the ECB. You also have BlackRock's CEO Larry Fink. Some of the largest names around finance there, but they are talking about all assets, how they will all eventually be tokenized. We've just addressed this a few videos ago, actually, talking about real estate and how a lot of the things that we utilize on a day-to-day basis will most likely be tokenized, from stocks to bonds to commodities. At least that's the perspective of many crypto industry executives, who predict that most, if not all, of modern finance will eventually run on digital rails. Just put it on the blockchain, as it were. And yeah, I mean, this could be very substantial. We've been talking about this for a while. I do think that almost everything around us will be tokenized that does have value. And I think that this is going to be a very significant shift that does happen around finance, around almost everything that we, see on a daily basis. A big one down here, though, as you guys do see, is some of the markets that we focus on a lot, actually, on this channel. You see equity markets, you see debt markets, you see securitized products, you also see derivatives. Obviously, the derivatives market now is a lot more substantial than what this is actually letting on. Most of these markets are actually now valued a lot higher, but yeah, I do think that this is going to be centered on DLT. We even do see, like, while greater digitization is inevitable, substantial headwinds may continue to limit adoption of DLT. Including limited leadership buy-in and uncertain business cases, the need for significant restructuring of business operations, challenges relating to bridging legacy systems with new solutions, and perceptions about regulatory uncertainty. Now, all of this actually is being fully focused on right now around crypto, specifically regulations and even bridging of the legacy systems through things like Overledger with Quant. And I think that this is actually going to allow for this to actually happen, which is a big focus point as well. But you do see that it's around 800 and almost $70 trillion. I do think that there's a lot more money here than what they are letting on, because, like I said, the derivatives market's anywhere between like 600 trillion to about it's like 2.4 quadrillion dollars. There's a massive amount of money out there. But yeah, I do think that this is something that we should focus on, because this is a large amount of money, and I do think that there's over 800 plus trillion dollars that will be fully disrupted by crypto and blockchain in general. Why? Well, we've already been seeing the warning signs from the World Economic Forum shaping the future of technology, governance, blockchain, and digital assets, and this focused on DLTs, especially around this these use cases around the financial markets. In fact, they are even mentioning that, while still nascent, cryptocurrencies built on DLT have emerged as potential gateways to new wealth creation and disruptors across financial markets. They also do mention other use cases being explored in almost every sector, ranging from energy and shipping to media. DLT has the potential to transform entire systems, but it also faces challenges, including lack of interoperability, which is being fixed, security threats, centralization of power, and unwillingness to experiment due to recent overhype. And again, I think that a lot of this is, easily fixable in terms of things that we need to kind of leapfrog over. Regulations definitely are a big one that we've been focused on, especially with XRP being, in a legality issue since 2020. But I think all of this definitely will come to see the light as once we do see that clarity come in. I think clarity is definitely going to be the big game changer around this. But also we see over here, from 2021 as well, what is blockchain and what can it do? Blockchain is distributed ledger that allows for more transparent and verifiable record keeping. Although associated mostly with money and finance, it can be used widely. There are still many barriers to its widespread adoption, including confidence and regulation. Again, what's the biggest sign here? regulations. Regulation definitely will be a big door that opens everything around crypto to be fully realized in. You also have lack of trust. How do we fix that? Well, you have the banks providing an on-ramp to crypto. I think that that's going to be the biggest obstacle that really kind of we need to leapfrog over. But regulations right now, big one. Ability to bring networks together. Again, interoperability is solving that. That's why I do believe that QNT with Overledger is going to be a big player. Separate blockchains not working together. Again, interoperability fixes that. Inability to scale. Again, Quant is fixing that through Overledger. Overledger has internet-grade scalability, but also a lot of these DLTs are extremely scalable. Intellectual property concerns, I mean, IP is being fixed through things like IPWE with Casper as well. Audit/compliance concerns. Not too sure how we could fix that, but I definitely do believe that there will be easily or ways to easily overcome that as well. But a lot of this definitely is, almost there. I mean, I would argue that we are nearing the final sort of sprint here, and I do think that that's going to be regulatory uncertainty being kind of demolished by, again, clarity coming to the space, and I do think that we are nearing that. Also, again, BIS, Bank for International Settlements, they did post this back in May of 2022. DLT-based enhancement of cross-border payment efficiency, a legal and regulatory perspective. They were focused on DLT within the cross-border payment scene. Always makes me think of XRP. I'm not sure if they even mention Ripple here. So actually they do. In fact, they are mentioning the Hawala payment system, which I don't know if we broke it down, but I've talked about Hawala before. I'm not sure if I talked about it in a video, though, on this channel. But this is with Ripple and their XRP, well, I shouldn't say their XRP ledger, but the XRP ledger as well for cross-border payments. But you love to see the fact that like Ripple is the only mention here in any sort of case around cross-border payments. And again, this is from like the BIS. So the BIS is realizing Ripple is a valuable opportunity within cross-border payments. I'm not sure if they even. So I'm trying to see where they are getting the quote for Ripple here. I believe it's just the Hawala system that they're utilizing as a sort of comparison here. But yeah, you love to see Ripple being mentioned here. It really kind of gives us a little bit of an insight. Don't know if they don't mention XRP at all, but they again realize the value behind Ripple with XRP. I mean, like when you're talking about cross-border payments, listen, you don't get cross-border payments with Ripple without utilizing XRP in terms of the highest grade efficiency factors. So again, very interesting. And again, like the BIS is preparing us, the World Economic Forum is preparing us, but also the IMF, which we will get to here in a second. But also, we have this video from Ripple Swell. This is with link to. Shout out to Riz XRP for this. But listen closely to this and just realize what I just mentioned to you around the BIS.
A CBDC hackathon, and I just thought the names of the companies that were the judges of the Ripple CBDC hackathon. These are just some of the names: MasterCard, AWS, Amazon Web Services, Accenture, the Digital Dollar Project, PwC, the BIS Innovation Hub. I just thought that was interesting that they're involved with Ripple and that they were helping with that hackathon. So it's just good to see those types of names working with Ripple, in concert with Ripple. You know, the overall vibe here is excellent. It's very professional. When I was in Singapore in 2019, it was very professional, but it was very like more of a party environment. This is all business. I mean, it's all business here today. Everyone's here talking business and talking about what they do. It's such an impressive place to be. The last thing I want to talk about is Brad Garlinghouse. When Brad got on stage, everyone's talking about FTX. Everyone's talking about FTX, which brings us to safety and security. Brad talked about FTX. He said, look, it wasn't good for crypto, but in the end, we're going to grow stronger because of it. It's important to clean out the bad actors and for crypto to not only get regulations, but to have the good people in the business. So I just thought that was great. And it's been a common theme here today. ODL. So look, Brad talked about ODL, which is on-demand liquidity, which is the use of XRP. It was in 4 markets in 2020. It is currently in 40 markets. We went from 4 to 40, including Africa. And it's literally, ODL is now in 90% of all FX markets, which I just thought was amazing. Ripple has $1 billion of cash in the bank, so they are just rock solid. And he's just long-term bullish for the future of Ripple and the future of digital assets. And they also hired 110 people in Q3. Hey, I want to go back and just say, I used the term settlement earlier when I talked about Ripple, when I talked about Brad Garlinghouse and Stuart Alderati. And look, it could be a settlement. It could be, the end of the case, and the judge may settle the case. What I really mean to say is a conclusion. So I don't want anybody to read into it. Nobody told me there's a settlement. The conclusion of the case. But one of the things that Stuart said to me was he thinks when it's over, it's over. Honest.
And again, kind of going in depth on this. First off, would love to kind of quote what Brad Garlinghouse said. He's long-term bullish on digital assets. How can't you be? Honestly, how can't you be long-term bullish on this market? I mean, this entire industry, from here on out, in my opinion, will do a 100x. This entire industry. I'm so long-term bullish on crypto. I think that when we look at the evolution of technology, it's going to be within this industry. I think that technology around crypto is continuously expanding, evolving, and there's a lot of industries that are ripe for disruption. I do think that tokenization and digitization within a lot of these sectors and industries is going to take the entire world by storm, and I'm so excited for that day to come. But having these judging panels around this entire event, the BIS. I mean, the BIS is literally a judge here, a center, MasterCard, some of the highest prestige names out there, PwC, AWS. To me, it's something really, really interesting. Accenture is a giant. We've talked about Accenture many times. Digital Dollar Project. The BIS, I mean, it's right in front of our face. The BIS is over here talking about DLT-based enhancements of cross-border payment efficiency. You have the BIS over here being a judge on this panel. Ripple's the only name mentioned in this article or in this PDF file talking about cross-border payments. It's just crazy to me that people are not realizing the value proposition here. And again, when we go back to tokenization, here's from the IMF blog, by the way. Global debt reaches a record $226 trillion. This has obviously gained a lot more since then. This was back in December of 2021. Policymakers must strike the right balance in the face of high debt and rising inflation. Not too sure on what the value of this market is now, but we've talked about how debt could 100% be tokenized through blockchain technology and DLT. And it could allow for a lot more efficiency within this area as well. You could actually trade debt. And a lot of other major opportunities are actually happening from this. In fact, JP Morgan wants to bring trillions of dollars of tokenized assets to DeFi. A huge innovation happening. And by the way, JP Morgan has been making a lot of rounds around DeFi, especially within tokenization. We have over here from Caesar Mills. We see the Federal Reserve Bank of New York is poised to unveil a proof of concept for regulated liability networks, an experiment around tracking and transmitting tokenized debt issued by an array of regulated financial institutions. We've talked about this recently. Yeah, I mean, all of this is centered on debt. I mean, like, tokenizing debt is a huge opportunity. I mean, like, this is a $226 trillion market now. Going back to this one over here, this article, the debt markets was trading at about $106 trillion. So this is astronomically larger than what this was back in May of 2021. And this was a time frame of roughly 7 months. So in 7 months, it ballooned over $120 trillion, which is astronomical. But yeah, I do think that this will be moving over to DLT, and I think that it will be tokenized on DLT and crypto-based platforms. Again, a massive opportunity, a huge opportunity actually. And we are seeing some big moves happening on the XRP ledger as well. Remember Sologenic? We've talked about Sologenic in the past. I think Sologenic is definitely a large project to watch for. I'm not going to continue to say that, like, hey, you should go invest into Solo or anything like that, just because, again, I don't like to shill XRP ledger token just because you never know what could happen. I always kind of take lessons learned from other individuals that talked about tokens, like the Fire token that was on the XRP ledger that, blew up. But I have been looking at Sologenic. I've been talking about Sologenic, and I focused on Sologenic in terms of their tokenization platform. I think that their tokenization platform is incredible. I think that a lot of these projects that we focus on that are being built out on the XRP ledger, I think that they could provide an immense amount of value for the network. And I think that this one is one that's interesting. I mean, again, this is all centered around tokenization of securities on demand, sourcing liquidity immediately. I think that a lot of this is very interesting, and I just don't see a future where tokenization isn't globally adopted in. And I think that when we look at a lot of the things that are happening on the XRP ledger and even around Ripple, you can see where Ripple is focused on. I mean, listen, tokenization, CBDCs, things like that, all of that is morphing into reality as day by day goes by. And going all the way back in time, like talking about these, like this was back in 2021, back in May of 2021, like yeah, there was a lot of things happening, but not nearly as much as what we see now. And as we do see, crypto continue to evolve and things start to move a lot more quickly, regulations definitely are a big one to watch for, but there's just no way, in my opinion, that this entire market doesn't 100x from here. You're going to see a lot more wealth coming into this space. You're going to see a lot more money pour in, and it's only a matter of time. Regulations will be the green light for that. So with that being said, I hope that you guys enjoyed this video. If you guys did, definitely leave a like, subscribe to the notifications on because I'm more free content. You guys are more than welcome to follow me on Twitter and join the free Discord down in the description below. As always, I hope that you all have a beautiful day, beautiful night. If you guys are on this before, this has been Nick. Peace out, guys.